Welcome back, True Seeker. Monday, February 6th, 2023. Earlier today in Turkey, local time, and Syria, they reported having one of the worst earthquakes in recent times, and the death toll has climbed to the thousands. The news is saying there'll probably be many more who are reported dead as the days unfold and the rubble is cleared. And last night I put out a short video about how the news broke in the US at about the same time the Grammys were taking place and during the performance that raised a lot of eyebrows of Sam Smith and Kim P, I forget her last name, but Unholy, where Sam Smith dressed up as the devil and there were flames on the stage. And it was a reference to Satan. And of course, when you think Turkey, you might think of the Church of Philadelphia in Revelation. The Church of Philadelphia is in modern day Turkey, but the letters written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. And of course, before this year began, I said expect a lot of tributes to the synagogue of Satan. Expect a lot of natural disasters because there's a connection when you know the Kabbalistic language of Gematria. And here we are, right before Super Bowl 57, which will feature the Philadelphia Eagles. And one of the headlines this morning is that the U.S. is sending military forces to help out. NATO's going to contribute. There's a lot to talk about here, but I also want to help people overcome their ignorance because so many people in this world are very ignorant. In the Bible, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," and that's probably the most true sentence in the entire Bible because in today's age, people don't have knowledge. Their heads are full of consumerism and distractions and misinformation, and they pretty much know nothing about nothing. All they know to do is turn on the screen and follow what the authority tells them, and the authorities never told them anything that they really need to know for all of their lives. Just kept them in a state of fear and a state where they're easily controlled. I want you to see also what ignorance looks like. I put up a short video last night. I could have said a lot more on this, but like I said, I would cover it today. And, this comment right here, Christy Leibel. She writes, "Here's some data and numbers for you, Zach. The East Anatolian fault line runs through Turkey, and most of all of these 5.0 and up earthquakes are next to this fault line. These earthquakes had nothing to do with the Grammys. There will most likely be massive destruction and death affiliated with all these earthquakes." The ignorance is these earthquakes had nothing to do with the Grammys. I'm going to show you just how connected to the Grammys they are and how undeniable it is when you know the language of the cabal that is doing this. And for all the people who think this is just some act of God, this is Mother Nature, again, that's also ignorance. And the reason it's ignorance is because there's a lot of information in the world. Hello, Jesse Ventura, who said in his Navy SEAL days the U.S. military was busy planting bombs all over the world for military experimentation. And a lot of these bombs were planted near fault lines. And what we've been uncovering for the last decade is how ritualistic all these earthquakes have been. I have a book, Letters and Numbers. There's a chapter in that book on natural disasters that weren't natural, like the 1989 World Series earthquake. And we've been covering many more since. So I'm going to show you how perfect this ritual was, how it was synced up with the 65th Grammys last night, a number that goes right to Philadelphia, where the ancient Philadelphia was in Turkey. And again, how it's also synced up with the Super Bowl next weekend. And for the people who cannot fathom how all this could be true, again, it's because you're ignorant. Ask yourself, do you know when the first act of weather warfare was admitted to in your life? If you don't know the answer to that question, it was August 15th, 1952, on the Jesuit order's birthday. And we're going to get to how this just happened on the first Jesuit Pope's 52nd day of his age. The same number identified in the same book where I talk about weather warfare and why the first act was admitted to in 52 on the Jesuit order's birthday. I've been teaching about the same things for a long time. So anyway, let's go through this piece by piece because there's a lot here. And we'll get to why the earthquake happened at 4:17 a.m., the 257th minute of the day. It's a pattern we've connected many a times before. 257 for the new person. Here's the 55th prime number in Gematria. Earthquake equals 55. So does military. So does Satan. So does God. That's why Marilyn Manson put out the song, when you say 10, or when you say God, I say 10. God has a Gematria value of 55 and 10, so does Satan. And 55 is the 10th triangular number. For all you football fans, it was the Bengals' 55th season. They just had a 10-game winning streak before their season ended, and the winning streak began on the day, leaving 55 days left in the year. But anyhow, notice the last time there was an earthquake this bad in the region was in 1939, the year World War II began. Rumors of World War right now. Military technology. How was World War II closed out? With a huge bomb blast, right? The atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima on 8/6. We'll get to how this happened 86 days after the Superior General's birthday. Also, if you watched the last live stream I did before this happened, I did it yesterday morning here in the U.S., and I talked about the death of the Pakistani president in a clear Jesuit ritual, and how his birthday was the day connected to natural disaster history, and how Pakistan's been getting the brunt of stories like this. Again, the last earthquake that killed thousands of people was in Pakistan. Indonesia's gotten some, but now Turkey, and I'll revisit all that in case you missed yesterday's stream. But notice they said this was a 7.8 earthquake and the worst in 84 years for the region. Again, those are big Jesuit numbers, 78, 84. In the U.S., when it happened, it was still a Sunday. Sunday also has the same Gematria, 84 and 78. But Gematria, it's the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. And also Z is 1, back to A is 26. That's how you get the values of 84, 78. But a 7.8, worst in 84 years. In the U.S., which you could say is really responsible for the event. We did develop the technology to do this. Sunday, again, 84 and 78. It was still Sunday here when it happened. Can't get more Jesuit than Sunday. Again, they're the military order of the Catholic Church that's a sun cult. And notice from the Pope's birthday to the day this happened in Syria was his 52nd day of his age. And Pope, Devil, Enlil, Earth, they all have that Gematria 52, just using the alphabetic order. Enlil is the Babylonian god of, storms and earthquakes, clear parallels to the devil. But big number, and again, the first act of weather warfare admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday in 1952. Words like flood and hurricane also have the 52 for the record. And they are saying that Turkey's also experiencing extreme weather right now. Not just the earthquake, but extreme weather. And also something I caught on CNN this morning is they say, even though NATO, Turkey's a member of NATO, Turkey's been uncooperative with NATO, as a CNN guest was talking about this morning, but NATO's going to help out, and they said this could bring Turkey back into greater cooperation with NATO. That was something I heard on CNN this morning, and then I just happened to notice that Turkey also joined NATO in 52. Go figure. But here's the piece. 223. HARP, the technology that was created that has the power to create earthquakes, the patent for that is August 11th. The former leader of Pakistan who just died was born August 11th. He just died in a Jesuit ritual. I just covered this. But August 11th is the 223rd day of the year. In Gematria, natural disaster equals 223. And by the way, the technology for HARP, again, if you don't know what HARP is, HAARP, look it up. The patent is August 11th, 87, stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, which equals 223 when you use the alphabetic order with numerology. But the patent date, the 223rd day of the year, going with natural disaster, going also with Philadelphia, going with the Synagogue of Satan. Again, the letter is written to the Church of Philadelphia about the Synagogue of Satan. And that letter begins in Revelation 3:7, a bit like 37. This earthquake took place on February 6th, the 37th day of the year. Perfect ritual. Again, watch the last live stream I did. I brought up the significance of Pakistan's ex-president dying at age 79, 187 days from his birthday. Big numbers with the Society of Jesus, which is the formal title of the Jesuits. As for Arturo Sosa and heart being patented in 87, he's the leader of the Jesuits. From his birthday to this ritual was his 87th day of his age. The Catholic Church equals 87, so does number of the beast. If you don't count the span of days to his birthday, it was 86 days later. Jesuits is 86. And again, when you think about big bombs killing thousands of people, you probably think of Hiroshima on 8/6 to conclude the World Wars, which were both massive Jesuit rituals, and so will the Third World War whenever it comes. And if you don't know this, look into Albert Pike's letter written about 3 world wars. It was published on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, the same day in history that the first act of weather warfare was admitted to. Again, coming to the ignorant person again, Christy Leibel, she knew about the fault line, so she's not totally ignorant, but to leave this thing with in all caps, these earthquakes had nothing to do with the Grammys, already in her mind, everything's, science, it's just because it's on a deadly fault line, it's only the fault line, it had nothing to do with the Grammys. Okay, we'll see. East Anatolian fault line, Gematria 79, like the Synagogue of Satan, like Society of Jesus. Who just died right before this? Again, the Prime Minister of Pakistan that's been getting pounded with weather warfare at age 79. Again, he died 187 days from his birthday. The Society of Jesus is also 187. And what's in the middle of the Jesuit logo? The Templar cross, the old military order of the Catholic Church. Notice how Knights Templar is 65 forward, 79 in reverse, just like Christianity is 65 and 79. Again, these are Christian teachings about the Synagogue of Satan and the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia. Notice how Philadelphia is 65. Again, the news broke in the U.S. of the earthquake at about the same time Sam Smith was portraying the devil or Satan dancing on a stage of flames, during the 65th Grammys. Philadelphia 65, like Christianity, 65th Grammys. Ancient Philadelphia in modern day Turkey. Ignorant person. These earthquakes had nothing to do with the Grammys, as I've been showing how weather warfare syncs up with entertainment and rituals for a decade, which everybody should have caught on to back in 1989 during the World Series earthquake. It's literally 34 years later. And people like Christy, well, I went to college and my science professor didn't teach me about gematria, so... Anyway, don't come on my channel and write your stupid bullshit. Get tired of ignorant people. Why in caps? Where's your confidence coming from that this had nothing to do with the Grammys? We're just getting into it anyway. There's a lot more to it. Oh, by the way, Slow Joe, who's talking about this morning, Jesuit Joe, it's his 79th day of his age that the earthquake happens in Turkey. And again, we just had the death of Pakistan's prime minister at 79. So Sam Smith, there he is in his devil cap. The flames are behind him if you missed the performance. Fat guy with no dance moves, portraying the devil. It was a gross performance. But notice how perfect it is. 103 days from Sam Smith's upcoming birthday was the performance. We're in the 103rd NFL season right now, aren't we? In Lincoln Financial Field equals 103, where the Eagles play. Philadelphia Eagles will be in the Super Bowl to conclude the 103rd NFL season on Lincoln's birthday. But 103 days, right? Again, because Philadelphia, Turkey, award ceremonies, rigged entertainment controlled by the Jesuits all across the board. Jesuits equals 103 forwards, 86 in reverse, going with it being 86 days after the Superior General's birthday. And again, we're talking about the same Catholic Church that rapes and molests little boys, that now promotes homosexuality through people like Sam Smith. As for the woman who also was part of the performance, Kim Petras, does her birthday stand out to you? August 27th? Remember when we predicted what day Houston would flood? August 27th. The 239th day of the year, the 52nd prime, where flood and hurricane are 52. And then Matt Harvey was the first pitcher to pitch in Houston after the flooding of Harvey exactly 52 days before the World Series. Again, for the new person here, if you type in Vice News and my name's Zachary K. Hubbard, you can find the hit piece they wrote on me for calling that World Series perfectly and how it would be synced up with the flooding and how it'd be all about 52. Again, this video comes courtesy of a guy named Zachary K. Hubbard, and he's convinced that everything is rigged. News, politics, the weather, sports, everything. Again, that's not everything, but what goes on in the mainstream is rigged. And I'm not convinced, I've been proving it, undeniably. Getting down to the brass tacks, Hubbard posts that the Astros World Series victory was foretold by Matt Harvey's start in Houston, which just so happened to be the first start after the Houston area was devastated by Hurricane Harvey. That start, coincidentally, was 52 days before the start of the World Series. And understand, right here, he quotes me, the reason that matters is because the word flood in Gematria equals to 52. Houston flooded on a date with 52 numerology on August 27th, which was the 239th day of the year, which is the 52nd prime number. It was also 27 years to the day of the death of Stevie Ray Vaughan, whose best-selling album was Texas Flood. So anyway, they make fun of that, but now here we are, and you have another 52 ritual going on. And the woman performing is born on that same day, the 239th day of the year, which is the 52nd prime. Again, going with Flood, Earth, Devil, Enlil, Pope. This whole ritual on the Pope's 52nd day of his age. Devil has the Gematria 52 and 25. The performance date was February 5th, which can be written 2-5 or 5-2. And when you run it in reverse, notice how Death and Earth, did I say Death? Devil and Earth are the exact same in all ciphers. For the record, let me pull something up. Let me pull up the calculator here. Again, Devil, Earth, the exact same in all ciphers. Notice how Flood is the exact same in 3 out of the 4. And Genesis 8:3 is where the biblical flood ends. And Enlil, again, that Babylonian god of flooding, the exact same as Earth and Devil in all ciphers. Okay. So also notice, both performers, Kim and Sam, are both 30 years old. They're both 30, big biblical number. Jesus begins his ministry at age 30. Bible has the Gematria of 30. Sam Smith has the Gematria of 30. The performance in the U.S. was 103 days from his birthday. You could say the earthquake happening at the same time in Turkey, which was a day ahead, was 102 days before his upcoming birthday. Notice Sam Smith is 102, like Art of War, like World War. And again, if you don't know Art of War, the supposed author is Sun Tzu, but there's no historical proof of Sun Tzu ever existed. The reason we know about Sun Tzu and the text is because of the Jesuit priest Father Amiot, who translated the book. This 102 is a number they used with 9/11 in a major way, COVID, the prior world wars. This morning on CNN, the guy saying the earthquake in Turkey could bring Turkey back in line with NATO, because I guess they were out of line even though they're a NATO member. If you've never read Art of War, it's about defeating your enemy with tricky methods. It's better to defeat your enemy with tactics that leaves them not even knowing that they were attacked by you. Thus, natural disasters, acts of God that really aren't. Let's come back to the ignorant person's quote. These earthquakes had nothing to do with the Grammys. It's just a big coincidence that the news broke as Sam Smith was dancing in front of flames, paying tribute to the synagogue of Satan as, again, Turkey gets rocked by the numbers. By the way, the name of the song he was performing, Unholy, which has the Gematria 95. Again, ignorant people don't know what that means, but the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. And in all likelihood, Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Theses, who pinned it to the Catholic Church's door, he did it on the day that's now Halloween, which is the 95 day. And remember, Martin Luther King Jr., who assumed the name after Martin Luther, the man who wrote the 95 Theses, he ended up getting assassinated on the 95th day of 1968, just before the Club of Rome was established 3 days later. Big number with the Catholics, 68. And that's how old the leader of Turkey is right now. He's 68 years old. We'll come back to that. But Unholy was the song that they were performing. Unholy. in the Grammy performance that did have everything to do with the earthquake, which has everything to do with the Super Bowl next weekend. Now, as for playing God, February 6th, the date of the quake in Turkey, can be written 2-6, right? And it happened at the 257th minute of the day, which is the 55th prime. Notice God equals 26 forwards, 55 in reverse. So what a perfect time to play God. An earthquake at the 257th minute of the day. And earthquake also has the Gematria 55, and I already know that I forgot to put the military one in here, but notice military's 55 in the same cipher as earthquake. You might have noticed they have the 107, 44, 55 overlap. And the military technology, HARP, also has the 44 as well as the 26. The word quake also fits in with the 26 and 55. But if you've never seen my work on the 1987 World Series earthquake, it was a massive 107 ritual, and the last thing shown on TV before the earthquake began was Jose Canseco, whose birthday was 107 days earlier, because it's all planned and coordinated ritual. They said it happened at 5:04 p.m. during the Bay Area World Series between Oakland and San Francisco. 5:04 p.m. Baseball 54 forwards and backwards. It's also 162 like the 162 game season. Jesuit order also 54. Same Jesuits back then that controlled the technology now. That was 2 years after HARP. And again, just 2-6 at the minute of the day. That's the 55th prime. Marilyn Manson song. When you say God, I say Satan. And notice, God, 55 and 10. Satan, 55 and 10. If you add 1 through 10 together, it equals 55. He wrote out the song Sayten. When you say God, I say Satan. Blood Sacrifice also has the Gematria 257 and 86. And again, 257th minute of the day, 86 days after the Superior General's birthday, Arturo Sosa, where Jesuits is also 86. And how old is the Pope right now? 86. Remember what we said the World Cup would be before it even began? Argentina, who won it in 86, where the Pope's from, over France, where the Jesuits were created. Pope Francis turned 86 years old the day before the rigged World Cup, which had everything to do with the same number. Again, from entertainment, to wars, to weather warfare, to your contrived news each day, to the latest bombing. Again and again, it all goes right back to the Jesuits. Why did CNN start by saying more than 100 dead in Turkey with their first headline when the news broke? Because Turkey equals 100. And when you run it the reverse, it equals 62. How does the majority of the world write the date? The 6th day of the second month, they write it 6-2 like 62. What a day for an earthquake in Turkey. Erdogan, who's 68 years old right now, this comes 20 days before his birthday. Let's not overlook that he was born in 54. Or maybe even, let's not even overlook that he's born on the 26th. He's also born on the 57th day of the year in light of Super Bowl 57, with Philadelphia being in it, where the original Philadelphia is in modern-day Turkey. But this came 20 days before his birthday. Remember when Lisa Marie Presley died at age 54 after the Golden Globes, when her daddy began performing Elvis in 1954? But when the news broke that she'd been hospitalized, what did my video say before the news of her death broke? Don't be surprised if they say she's dead later today, because it's 20 days before her birthday. So now in his nation, 20 days before his birthday, massive death. Death crossed time. Before 2020 began, I said, watch, you'll see more celebrity death this year than you've ever seen in a year. That was true. 2020 was nonstop death. Started with Kobe. It started even before Kobe. But then Kobe was this monumental death, which was synced up with the Catholic Church. Again, for the person who's new here, Kobe Bryant, 41, dead on the 41st day of the Pope's age while traveling from Catholic Mass. Kobe Bean Bryant, 54, dead the Sunday before Super Bowl 54. Also 81 in reverse, like how he scored his career high 81 points in his 666th game, where Mark of the Beast is also 54 and 81. You know, ask Christy, she'd go, it had nothing to do with the Jesuits. His pilot was driving in bad weather. Okay. All right, but 20 days before his birthday, massive death. And then, this morning, the leader of the United Nations, Mr. 201, Mr. Jesuit, he's saying, the United Nations is ready to help. We're ready to help. It just happens to be 83 days before his birthday. Remember, murder's 83. Remember, Earth is also 83, so is devil. This big devil ritual. But Murder by Numbers, the song, came out in 1983. It's about how killing's the sport of the elected. It's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Here's one of those elected types. 83 days before his birthday. That means if you counted the span of days, it would also be a span of 84, like how this is the worst earthquake in the region in 84 years. 7.8, 417. I'm trying to think of the one guy's channel who does nothing but cover earthquakes. He has these fancy graphics. He shows how like the whole world's an earthquake every day. It was probably 2016 or 2017 he put out his video telling people to ignore my work. He said my work was all coincidence. Just look at his fancy graphics of, earthquakes all over the world. His graphics show like, he's like, there's going to be an earthquake here, 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 here. It's like, well, your graphics show that the whole world's in a constant earthquake. This isn't even interesting. Meanwhile, he was telling people to ignore what I was showing about like the 1989 World Series earthquake. It's just how you know these people are total shills. My work shows, like he's never once addressed who's doing it. My work shows exactly who's doing it every time. Points right back to those responsible every time. So, 120 aftershocks. Who created the Illuminati? Remind me. Oh yeah, that's right. The Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. What's Illuminati equal? 120. What is 120? The 15th triangular number. What day was the Illuminati founded? The first day of the 5th month, 1-5. How it all goes together. You know who's born on the 120th day of the year? This Jesuit right here. The guy who's the leader of the United Nations. Born on the 120th day of the year. Same day Adolf Hitler supposedly died at age 56. Adolf Hitler, 56. Sure, it was just a coincidence. Also 187, just like Society of Jesus. Just like Paris, France, where they were created. It's like a million rituals with those numbers. You know what Adolf Hitler's real name is? Adolphus Hitler. 150, 201. 150 like Illuminati, 201 like Order of Illuminati. Whoops. Like the Jesuit order. Again, Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, 201. What's his name? Antonio Gutierrez. Antonio Gutierrez. Oops, I did something wrong. What was it? There, that's right. Antonio Gutierrez, double R, not double T. 201. Also 87, and we talked about that at the beginning with it happened on the Pope or the Superior General's 87th day of his age. So. Yeah. Again, I just always wonder what would have happened if the channel hadn't been deleted 20 some times and still got big views. Maybe the people of the world might actually wake up and revolt. Again, there is a party that's responsible for this. It's the Jesuit order. It's the Vatican. And by the way, you guys, with regards to August 11th being the anniversary of the patent date for HAARP, this ritual did take place 186 days before that anniversary. You might notice Vatican Hill is 48 and 69, like Illuminati. Think of those Da Vinci Code movies. Focused on the Illuminati and the Catholic Church. They've done some nice 201 rituals with those films as well, and Tom Hanks, who stars in them. Uh-oh, bad news for the Warriors, originally from Philadelphia. Steph Curry out indefinitely. Don't forget when he was on his $201 million contract. But yeah, for those of you guys who don't know about HAARP, look into it. Again, the patent date, August 11th, 1987. And again, that's the 223rd day of the year. Natural Disaster High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program is what it stands for, both 223. Like here we are in 2023, a lot like 223. The establishment date had 44 numerology, like HARP, military, earthquake. The name in just the most standard cipher is 457, which in satanic gematria overlaps with earthquake. And again, one perfect ritual after the next. I'm guessing if I hadn't been deleted and censored so many times, a person like Christy wouldn't be leaving a comment like that. These earthquakes had nothing to do with the Grammys. People got to stop with the coincidences. I mean, literally. Dancing on stage in tribute to Satan as a massive earthquake unfolds in Turkey. Again, where the ancient Philadelphia is. The letter written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. I just knew in an instant, I was like, this is too perfect. 65th Grammys, Philadelphia. You see how Philadelphia is 101, 65, 223, 61? Look at the word church. 101, 61 like Philadelphia. Again, Christianity, 65 like Philadelphia. Again, the synagogue of Satan. 223 like Philadelphia. Like them in the Super Bowl in 2023. Last time they were there, they started 10-1 like this year. You know. I also noticed last night during the Grammys, they had up the list of the 1,000 musicians they killed this year by the numbers. So I was watching, I was like, man, we covered nearly all those deaths this year. Oh, Itachi. What's the Turkey player who changed his name to? Hold on, Turkish. And didn't Turkey change their name anyway? All the media is still referring to it as Turkey. Yeah, he changed his name to Freedom. Enos Freedom. What team is he on now? Oh, he's actually born in Switzerland. He's 30 right now as well. Is he still in the NBA? Is he still playing? No, he's retired. Oh, it's a different Turkey. It's a different Turkish player. Okay. All right. He wears 28 for the Rockets. That's a fitting number to wear being from Turkey. Turkey's also got the 28. You see how Turkey has the 35 as well? So does Satan, in light of the tribute to the synagogue of Satan. Baphomet, also 35. His birthday is 25/7. Okay, that's what you're pointing out. His birthday is 25/7, 257, the 55th prime, the earthquake at the 257th minute of the day. He's playing for the Houston Rockets. Let's see. Rockets. Do they play today? They do play today against the Kings. Lots of rituals with Kings lately. Oh, by the way, something I missed yesterday in the U.S. shooting down the China balloon on the 35th day of the year. Not only did they shoot it down on the 35th day of the year, almost all the media, the footage of it was from Kingstown, which is on the 35th parallel. You know what I mean? All these rituals and tribute to the king as well. Just jokes for days, man. Jesuits running the whole show. Remember, that's a big Catholic number. The Knights Templar were burned at the stake for worshiping Baphomet. Catholics 35, like Holy See. Again, the Catholic Church used to be the rulership of Europe, which is 35. Jesuitism's 35. The old name of Jesus, Jesus, is 35. Christmas Day, 1225. The square root of 1225 is 35. But yeah, I really do wish we could attract bigger audiences like we used to and get the knowledge out to a lot more people, because this knowledge really needs to be out there to a lot more people. And again, everyone in Turkey needs to know. And for the person in Turkey who'd say, well, why is all this in English? Again, because the 16th century, the Jesuits were created. They created the Gregorian calendar, which the majority of the world goes by now. And at that same time that they created the Gregorian calendar, they standardized the English alphabet is the 26-letter alphabet that exists today. And by the way, again, Kabbalah is where all this stuff comes from. Notice the word letter is 26, like God is 26. Again, Kabbalah's Book of Formation, the opening page says, God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. These people performing so many rituals with the code, playing God over humanity. Again, God 2655 on 2/6 at the 257th minute of the day, the 55th prime, this happens. A quake. All right, hold on. Let me say thank you to the super chatters. I see some people got generous. Thank you. Let me find out who it was. All right, congrats to the winners. Chipped in $2. Says cover the House of Hoops simulation for Mavs in Philadelphia. That must be something about the Kyrie Irving trade. He goes from one 13 team to the other. Again, the two 13 teams are the Nets and Dallas. Well, you could say the third one is LA. Those are the 3 13 teams in the NBA. LA, Nets, Dallas. 13 plays with those teams all the time. Shout out to Rick James. He says, keep going, Zach. Appreciate it. And by the way, congrats to the winners. I will look into this. What I do got to cover is I still got to get out all the NBA information for today. Got to help my community win. Let's see. Truth Slay chipped in $20. Said, thanks for the daily news. I'm learning so much. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for the big tip, Truth Slay. And Nathan chipped in another $2. Thank you, Nathan. You didn't have to do that again, but I do appreciate it, friend. And I think I got all the way caught up. So funny. $26 in donations for the stream, fitting on 2/6. If you guys got here late, feel free to rewind the video. The most important information was at the beginning. And Truth Vibration Podcast, make sure you guys are subscribed to his channel. The Armenian genocide was during World War I. Yeah. Always paying tribute to history with every last ritual they do. So, and by the way, for the ignorant person out there, Christy, please leave a comment and explain why you were so confident about what you were 1,000,000% wrong about. You know, I was nice enough to only write that you were 1,000% wrong, but really you're 1,000,000% wrong. So, hopefully you wise up and pay attention because, again, been exposing this stuff for a long, long time. And you know what? If you want to read more about destructive acts of God blamed on Mother Nature that weren't, come to my website, GematriaEffect.news, GematriaEffect.news. That's all you got to write, GematriaEffect.news. And you are welcome to buy the ebooks, but you can download them for free. And again, right above this photo, it says download ebooks for free right here. Click that link. Letters and Numbers is the book with the big chapter on weather warfare by the numbers. Earthquakes, flooding, that were rituals and clearly rituals. So, what I talked about here falls in line with what I talked about way back then. Wrote that chapter in 2017 and been talking about it years before that. So Letters and Numbers is the one you want, the one with the green cover. That's got the chapter on weather warfare. All right. We'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Have a good rest of your day. I'm sure I'll be back later. And thank you to everyone who supports the work. I do appreciate it. Until next time.